My name's Zena. I'm just a switch with an English degree, and today I wanted to come to you to talk about a song that I have been wanting to talk about for a really long time. And I'm excited too because I got to bust out this tome of a book because there are a lot of English majory things in this song, and I'm really excited to get into it. Let's talk about the Albatross. We have to talk about the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner in order to understand the Albatross, and I hope that you will indulge with me because the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is one of my favorite poems of all time, and when the Albatross was announced, I lost my absolute mind because there is only one reason, in my humble opinion, as a girly who loves the Lakes District and who loves Romanticism like Taylor does, for her to use the Albatross as imagery. It's because of the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. So let's talk about it. Now, may I take you back to 2020 when we had the release of Folklore and the release of the bonus track, The Lakes. To further clarify why I'm pointing to the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, I just want to point out that The Lakes is based heavily on the English Lakes District, and there are 3 Lakes poets who are very commonly known for kind of starting the Romanticism movement, where you focus more on nature and more on emotion than actual kind of reality. It's a very, like, Romanticism is a very, we think about emotion and nature more than we think about industrialism, because industrialism was actually catching on at the time. So what do people do? They go to the other side with Romanticism. 3 Lake poets were William Wordsworth, which, you know, we have a call out to Wordsworth in The Lakes where she says, some name-dropping sleaze, tell me what are my words worth? Wordsworth. Then we have Samuel Coleridge, the author of the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, the poem that we're going to be discussing today, along with the Albatross, and then also Robert Southey. We're not going to talk about him today. Cliff Note version of the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. It starts off where a man is at a wedding and he is surrounded by a group of people, and he is telling him the story about how he shot an albatross and how he effectively cursed his entire ship. So essentially they started off in this journey, the weather was looking good, an albatross was flying above them, and often an albatross is seen as a lucky symbol for people who are out at sea. An albatross is seen as good luck. But for whatever reason, with my crossbow, I shot the albatross, says the narrator of the poem, and he shot the albatross out of the air, effectively cursing the ship. And then they go into hard water, they go into storms, people on the ship are actively dying. It is an absolute mess, all because he shot the albatross. What I want to take from this is that the mariner in this narration, in this poem, he has great regret, and the repercussions of his actions effectively ruin his life. And his mission from then on is to effectively warn people of his bad action with the albatross, to warn them so that they themselves are not cursed. So then we see Taylor using this imagery of the albatross to represent herself, and I find it extremely interesting. The poet's view, the mariner's disrespect for nature and for the natural order of things and for the albatross itself is what cursed them. That is what cursed him and put him into trouble's way. The mariner effectively pays for the curse that he caused for the rest of his life because he is constantly reliving it and constantly telling his story to warn other people so that they do not shoot the albatross and suffer the same fate and the same curse as him. I think Taylor here with the albatross takes the imagery of the albatross, flips it on its head, and instead of the albatross being something that curses you, it is also something that saves you. So let's talk about the actual song because I think the parallels here are really interesting, and I love the way that she goes through this. And there are also other literary bits in here that I am very excited to talk about. So let's get into it.
Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle.
Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle.
A rose by any other name is a scandal.
A rose by any other name is a scandal. In these first 2 lines, I think she is referencing how people are constantly talking. Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle. A rose by any other name is a scandal. She is essentially saying that everything depends on your perspective, right? A rose by any other name is a scandal is also a turn on the Shakespearean line, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, from I believe it's Romeo and Juliet, but instead of the rose smelling as sweet, the rose is a scandal. I think that this is just pointing to the fact that people are going to talk and they are going to have their opinion on things, and they are going to, what is going to be a rose to you is going to be a scandal to somebody else, and you can't please everyone. So people are going to constantly be talking. They're going to talk about how wild winds are death to the candle. They're going to talk about how roses are scandals, and that's just something that is always going to be. Cautions issued, he stood, shooting the messengers, they tried to warn him about her.
He stood, shooting the messengers, they tried to warn him about her.
And I think that this is really important because if we reflect this back to the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, in the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, we have one guy who is telling an entire room, an entire party about the mistakes that he made and about how he was cursed. And this flips on its head, and we have an entire room of people telling one person something. Cautions issued, he stood. So it's one guy versus all of these cautions around him. He stood, shooting the messengers while they tried to warn him about her. But he's not listening. He is shooting the messengers, and he is not listening to them with their warnings. I think that this first chorus is reflected at the guy who is not listening, and I think it is from the other people. Cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you.
Cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you.
She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you.
She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you.
And this first chorus here, I think that this is pointing to the fact that curse your thoughtless heart. Like, you are just not thinking. You are working on emotions, right? You are not thinking at all. You have a thoughtless heart. You are going straight on emotions, whatever your heart wants. Only liquor anoints you, meaning that you are not anointed by God. You are not anointed by holy oil or by holy water even, which is typically what you would be anointed with, at least with Christian tradition, things like that, and historical aspects of things. But here, only liquor anoints you, which could point to the fact that maybe they're saying that you are drunk and you don't know what you're doing, or you're making a mistake. Like, only liquor anoints you. She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you. And I think that is just another repetition, another one of their warnings. All of these people talking to one. That is my opinion of this first chorus here. Now we get back to what they're saying again. Wise men once said, one bad seed kills the garden.
Wise men once said, one bad seed kills the garden.
One less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen.
One less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen.
And these are more of those warnings, right? One bad seed kills the garden, one less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. We have one less person that we have to look out for, so we have one less dagger to sharpen. She's just talking about these warnings that are continually be giving. Again, these wise men are continuously talking about the same things over and over. I think this is where she is, right? This is where the albatross is. Locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams. And I love this reference to towers here because it makes me think about the Lady of Shalott. And if you're familiar with that poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, it is one of my favorite poems also because it reflects the story of the Lady of Shalott, who is cursed and locked in a tower outside of Camelot. And she is cursed to the point where she states that she is half sick of shadows, which is my favorite line from that poem. But it's because she is cursed to forever view things in a mirror. So she is constantly a tapestry of what she sees, but she only sees the reflection of it, so she can't actually live life, and she's locked in this tower and she's cursed to be there. And it's not until she sees Lancelot reflected in the mirror that she tries to escape and she tries to actually get out and she tries to live, but again, she is cursed, so she can't. So I think that this reference to being locked in towers really makes me think about if it could reflect kind of like a Lady of Shalott moment where you are half sick of shadows and you want to live a life that you can't live because you're cursed, whether that curse is from fame or whether that curse is just from the things that follow you from your past. And I want to show you guys this image of the Lady of Shalott real quick because this is still the background on my work computer, okay? I love this painting so much, but look at how her gaze, she's not really looking at anything. It's because she's been looking at that mirror for so long and she has been living apart from the world for so long. When she finally breaks free, she can't even see it. So I think that this imagery with being locked in towers, with isolation, could be important if we're talking about Taylor's viewpoint through this, because she could have at the point when she was writing this been feeling like she was isolated, perhaps by fame, celebrity, something like that. It's just something to think about. Honestly, I think just the idea of fame itself could be a tower here, right? Because she could be locked up in her tower, looking at things through another lens, like through a filter. I mean, she could be existing in a world where she is secluded and not able to actually, have a normal everyday life and a normal everyday existence. And I think that that is an interesting way to think about this, where she says, they locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams, because people still think about her and they tried to warn you about me. And when I think about this song, I really want to picture it. Okay, happened to Travis, like maybe, you know, Travis, you know, put out the friendship bracelet to her, and other people said, you shouldn't do that, man, like she is trouble, but he did it anyway. And she is here referencing, in my head canon, this is what I want to believe, but I believe that she is referencing here, they locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams, because he liked her, but they tried to warn you about me. I just think that that's an interesting way to think about it. I don't know if that's what she's trying to say here, but if there's a relationship angle, that's the one that I think is the most likely, is that this is reflecting how, even if it's not specifically Travis, but just the warnings that people get, the, you know, don't date her, they're gonna write a song about you, don't date her, she'll ruin your life. These warnings that people would hear whenever they interact with her. So I think that that is possible. And it goes back to the chorus with, cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you. She's the albatross, she is here to destroy you. The devils that you know raise worse hell than a stranger.
Devils that you know raise worse hell than a stranger.
She's the death you chose, you're in terrible danger.
She's the death you chose, you're in terrible danger.
I really get vibes of, oh, just bless your heart here with cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you. She's the albatross, she is here to destroy you. Again, with the devils that you know, raise worse hell than a stranger. I think this is a warning from the albatross saying, or from her saying, the devils that you know, they raise worse hell than a stranger. Like, they are the problem. You can't trust the people around you. And I think that she is pointing to that here with everybody else talking, and you can't trust what they're saying, because people will just continuously talk. They will have their own perspective about things, and they are just going to continuously say things that are going to hurt you, like, she is the death you chose, you're in terrible danger, when actually she is not a danger. And we see that reflected with the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, right? Because the curse that the narrator had was because he shot the albatross, who was harmless to him. He shot the albatross for no reason, and that was what cursed him. So I think that she is flipping that on its head here, and she is saying, they're telling you that I'm a danger, but that is not the truth. When that sky rains fire on you,
That sky rains fire on you,
and you're persona non grata,
and your persona non grata,
I'll tell you how I've been there too,
tell you how I've been there too,
and that none of it matters.
and that none of it matters.
And when that fire rains down on you and you're persona non grata, I think in this stanza she is saying, essentially, when the fire comes down and you are no longer welcome, because a persona non grata is essentially an unwelcome person in Latin. It has to do with like foreign diplomacy and things like that, but essentially, so when you are a persona non grata, you are no longer welcome, and the fire is raining down on you, she will say, I'll tell you how I've been there too, and that none of it matters. So at your lowest moment, when everything is falling apart, that's what she's going to say to you. When that sky rains down on you and you are no longer welcome, it's the albatross that comes to you. She will come to you and she will say, I've been there too, and none of it matters. And I think that that is what is important here, because this entire time in all of these past stanzas, everybody has been warning him about the albatross, but it's the albatross that comes down, and it's the albatross that tells him that none of it matters and is actually acting as a protector. And in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the albatross is seen as a luck symbol. So I love that this is being turned on its head here, where the wise men are the ones who are heckling the actual guy. I think it's important here because this is the albatross figure that is coming down and is actually saving you, right? So the past stanzas here, he has been warned from all of the wise men around him how horrible she is. But when it comes down to it, it is her that tells him that everything is going to be okay, and it is her who actually tries to help him. She points this out again and says, wise men once read fake news and they believed it.
Wise men once read fake news and they believed it.
Because because they did believe it. All of these people will believe anything that they hear. And there are so many people who hate her for no reason. And there are so many people who say things about her that honestly are just incorrect. And I think that that is kind of what's being pointed out here, that wise men once read fake news and they believed it and they tell everybody about it. And that is what you end up hearing is the fake news. Jackals raised their hackles. You couldn't conceive it.
Jackals raised their hackles. You couldn't conceive it.
And jackals are kind of like a coyote, but typically also they're seen as followers in a pack, right? Like they are not leaders, they are followers. So all of these jackals, they're not leading anything, but they are following and they are spreading this incorrect information and other people are believing it. You couldn't conceive it because they're all doing it simultaneously. It's just people are going to continuously talk. And I think that that is what she's saying here. You were sleeping soundly when they dragged you from your bed.
And I tried to warn you about them.
You were sleeping soundly when they dragged you from your bed, and I tried to warn you about them. And this is now the albatross giving her warning to him because she is wanting to save him. Despite what everybody else has said about her to him, she wants to save him. And she does, because I crossed my thoughtless heart, spread my wings like a parachute.
I crossed my thoughtless heart, spread my wings like a parachute.
I'm the albatross. I swept in at the rescue.
I'm the albatross. I swept in at the rescue.
The devil that you know looks now more like an angel.
The devil that you know looks now more like an angel.
I'm the life you chose in all this terrible danger. And
I'm the life you chose and all this terrible danger.
And I think that she is really pointing to fame here with this, where she is the albatross and is swooping in almost to save maybe a Travis figure from the harm that the fame and the celebrity could have on a relationship potentially. I think that that could potentially be what we're seeing here. I do think that fame and celebrity, that is hard to live with, and Taylor has described it before as living in a fishbowl. So I think that when she starts any new relationship, the question of what others do around their bubble is always going to be present. So I wonder if there was some wonder about, wanting to clarify what the life would be like with her as an albatross there to swoop in and save him, but surrounded by all of these hecklers and all of this fake news and all of these people who are going to constantly talk and going to constantly talk about things and say things are a scandal when they're actually roses, and all of that I think is potentially what she could be trying to say. Also, I think it's important here to remember that they are crossing their thoughtless hearts and they are working with emotion. She is here with the albatross too. When she crossed her thoughtless heart, spread her wings like a parachute. I'm the albatross. I swept in at the rescue. And I think that that is the message here. If you look at this song also from just the perspective of the albatross being her and her being someone that people talk badly about, even without the relationship aspect, and her wanting to protect somebody else from the harm that she could potentially see herself causing because she is, this famous thing. Although I think that Travis is uniquely wonderful for this with her, but that is a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But I think that that could be part of this as well. But even if we just see the albatross as this thing, as her, and just people are talking bad about her even without the relationship involved, I think the point is that she is not this terrible thing. She is not this dangerous thing. This is the life you chose, not the death that you chose. People talk about it as if this is the death that you chose, but they're incorrect. It's fake news. They do not understand. They are saying that something is a scandal when it's a rose. Ends with them pointing out she's the death you chose, but her reaffirming I'm the life you chose and all this terrible danger. And I think that she is pointing out that the danger is actually the other people and not the relationship that they have themselves. If she is referring to a relationship here and not just herself, I think if it is just herself, then it is the danger is other people and not internally. And she ends it with, so cross your thoughtless heart. She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you. And I like to think that this ending is saying that she will destroy you, but I want to think that she is saying that she will destroy you for anyone else. As in, she will destroy you. You will not be able to love anyone else. That's what I want to think that she means by I will destroy you in the end here. But I just was listening to this song the other day, and I was just taken aback and newly obsessed with it. So I wanted to jump in and talk to you guys about the Albatross and get your thoughts on it. I really do think that you cannot separate this song from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I truly believe that she was influenced by, if nothing else, but the visual of the albatross in that story, and how the albatross essentially was seen as a curse when it wasn't. I think that that is the play here, and I love the fact that she is the albatross and she is not here to destroy you. And I think that that is the point here, and that is essentially what she's trying to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that this song and the Rime of the Ancient Mariner go hand in hand? Do you think that she's talking about something else? I say repeatedly that, again, I am just reading lyrical tea leaves here, and also when we look at poetry and we look at lyrics and things, we're going to look at them and view them from our own viewpoint. So you could think something different from me, and if you do, let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk about it, and let me know what you guys want to see next. On this channel, we read literary tea leaves and we discuss Taylor Swift's lyrics and lore. If you're interested in that kind of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am trying to grow this channel, so any subscriptions I greatly appreciate, and I would love to talk to you more about all of this stuff because we have a lot of songs to go through and there's so much more coming. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments and have a great day. Thanks.